Hi, thank you for watching this video. I hope you're having a beautiful day. If you're a coach or consultant, then I promise you that your day's about to get even better, okay? So my goal with this video is to go over the top 3 mistakes that I keep seeing coaches and consultants make that's keeping them from not being able to take home $50,000 in profit, in personal income every single month, okay? So if you're a coach and consultant who has not been able to scale past 6 figures per month, then this video, then you're gonna want to pay attention to this video, okay? If you don't know me, my name is Serge Gatari. I'm the founder of clientacquisition.io. It's a consultancy where we actually come into coaching businesses and scale them by removing the founders from their client acquisition process, okay? So we build client acquisition infrastructures, we build growth teams, and help you essentially serve more people at scale without having to be in the trenches, okay? So just as proof, I just want to show you that, you know, I'm literally using these lessons come from my own journey, okay? This is stuff that I have had to experience for myself. And let me just show you our Stripe account just for proof. So last month on Stripe, we collected, I guess, $82,000. The month before we did $94,000. Revenue, we were doing a bit over 6 figures. But collected, we've been stuck around 75K to 95K. But, you know, recently we've, you know, from the same lessons that I'm about to share, you know, let me show you what the impacts were when I actually made the switch. So the first 14 days of this month, we did over we did $119,000 on Stripe, and we did, I think, $23,000 on PayPal. Okay, so in 14 days we collected more than we've ever done in a month, right? And so yeah, this is just so you can actually pay attention and actually see that the stuff that I'm about to share has, you know, just helped me literally have a multiple 7-figure run rate in literally just like 2 weeks, okay? So the number 1 mistake is you're trying to use the same client acquisition systems or infrastructure that the expert who sold you on their product is using, okay? If you're doing $5,000 to $10,000 per month, I'd even say between 5 to 50K per month, you should not be leveraging the same client acquisition methods that the influencers that sold you a service or a product are using, okay? An example, I've been through Sam Ovens products and courses and programs, but if Sam Ovens, you know, let's say I'll use an example of Sam Ovens. If Sam Ovens sold you a consulting program and taught you how to run Facebook ads or YouTube ads and to build a VSL as a client acquisition system, because that's how he's making his money, you should not copy his process unless you're already making $50,000 per month or more, okay? Most people think it's expensive to advertise to book calls, but it's even more expensive than you think, okay? The numbers that you just saw is literally $0 in ad spend. I have not spent I've literally spent maybe this month $100 just from retargeting people, because I'm actually using hiring ads to build my growth team. So I was just retargeting people, spending like $20 a day for 5 days. But I don't use ads for acquisition, because I understand that like it will at least cost me $10,000 to $20,000 to find the thing that works. Not to consistently get meetings, but to simply just find the right copy, the right video ad, the right image, the right angle, the right offer, to structure the right VSL, the right audience, because as you see here, I'm actually working on a VSL right now. But if you're making 5 to 10K to 20K per month, and you're not ready to lose $20,000 just to test and find the right thing, you should not be listening to what someone who's making $1 million a month is using. Because these are influencers, guys. Like, this is something that you guys have to understand. They're not, I don't know how to explain it. They're not like a nobody, right? Meaning even if they just wanted to, like, if they wanted to make $100 grand in a day, they literally just put out an email blast and they will make $100,000 in a day. For you, who's currently at $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000, you don't have a brand, okay? So all the money you're really spending on ads is literally just being burned for nothing. Okay? And for me, this has been one of the biggest like mistake, and thank God that I never really like used it, because I was too broke to even implement the ads and VSL structure. But I think this is the most like, this hurts a lot of people. It keeps a lot of people from not growing, because like it's not going to work for you unless you have a lot of money, okay? Or you're willing to lose a lot of money. And the other thing, you know, this was just one example, but it's like another thing that I see is people who are being taught like the Facebook organic process. Like you have to understand that like the way that it will work for the influencer who already has a group of like 20,000 people is not going to work the same for someone who's just starting out with their coaching business. So this also still applies. You should not just be following blindly what someone who's already making, you know, millions and millions of dollars every year is teaching you how to do, because you need to first get to your first like 7-figure mark before you can start implementing what most people are teaching in their programs. Okay, so for us, what we recommend to people and what we're currently using, and as you just saw, I think this month we're gonna most likely do over $200,000 organically. What we recommend to people who are just making between $10,000 and $50,000 is to follow the following acquisition system. Okay, you need to, one, leverage someone else's audience. Why is this important? Because you don't want to, I don't know how to explain this. So I come from the agency space, right? I come from the advertising space. So you really have two scenarios. You can either go sell to a niche that has never heard of what you sell, and what ends up happening is that you have to sell them on why they need the thing, and then you also have to sell them on your own service. Okay, so when you're going out there and just trying to convert cold audiences, what ends up happening is that you're having to, one, change or create the desire in the actual prospect. You don't just start by selling your program or your coaching or consulting services. You need to first sell them on the problem that they even have, and then you have to sell them on your solution, right? But if you're leveraging someone else's audience, someone who has already sold them a solution, someone who has already changed their beliefs around the need for your service and products, then you just skip that first part, that first hurdle, right? Meaning you just find people who are already aware of their issues and they're just looking for the best service to get them, to bridge that gap, right? So for me, this is what we do. We don't try to go out there and just sell people on our service. We just find people who have already been sold and we just offer them a better solution, okay? And I recommend you do the same. Now, the next thing is build a growth team, okay? So let me show you. Let me see if I added it here. I don't think I added it here, but I have a growth team, okay? We're booking around 200 to 250 meetings per month, and it's made up of highly trained appointment setters that we train in-house, okay? We do the same thing for our customers. We build the growth teams for them. But let me show you what our calendars look like, okay? This is just for one of my closers. So this is his calendar. This was for the week of May. So if we keep going, like every single week, 50 meetings every single week, and without a single dime on, right? And we've been doing this for a long time, okay? So literally this is done by a growth team. We don't recommend VAs, although we actually do place trained VAs for our customers. But if you really want to start making like multiple 7 figures a year and take $500,000 to $1 million profit every single year, you need talented people, okay? So we've built a hiring process around finding really talented people to turn into appointment setters. That's the second thing. So that's what I recommend. And then the third thing is launch outbound campaigns on social platforms. We try to use social platforms. Everyone is on Facebook, everyone is on Instagram, so we try to leverage those platforms, okay? Sometimes we use some LinkedIn, some emails, but we try to prioritize the channels that we also use as every day, Okay, so we asked ourselves, hey, what platforms do we use every day? And when we were building outbound campaigns for our clients, we try to use the platforms that we know that other people are using every day. Okay, and then the fourth thing you need is leverage content to change beliefs. Okay, you need to get people to start thinking like you and to have the same beliefs as you, because guess what, if someone believes the same thing that you do, they're going to consistently buy, right? So so I just showed you some of our meetings booked, and all I really focus on, me personally, is build content that changes beliefs. And I have a growth team. We have a lot of other people's audiences that we've accessed, and we just turn that into cash flow. Okay. Now the other thing, the other mistake, which also hurts a lot of people, is I see so many coaches and consultants who overvalue their services and products, right? So, I don't necessarily take calls anymore. Like, I don't really jump on a sales call. I don't really sell people anymore. But one of the things that I used to observe before, or that I even observe from afar, is that I see so many people who think that their service is good but only because they're in their own little bubble, okay? Like, they just get their feedback from themselves. So if you were to ask me, like, hey, Serge, do you think your service is good? I'd say, of course it is, right? But if you actually went to the marketplace and asked them the same thing, it could be a yes or it could be a no. And the biggest mistake that I see coaches make is that they build services without ever asking the market what the market actually wants, okay? So I understand that you're an expert. I understand that you maybe got into a course, or that you've spent a whole bunch of money on programs, and that you've built some kind of knowledge, but it's like, you're not just meant to package your expertise into a service and think that you're going to make millions. It doesn't work like that. It's not about you. It's about the marketplace. Okay? So for me, as an example, the way that I started my first multiple six-figure business in 4 months was that I had gone through a course. I was being taught how to start like an advertising agency, but I couldn't really scale it fast enough. So what I decided to do was, I was like, what do people actually want? And I was like, people are struggling with appointment setting. So I started an appointment setting agency, and I started making $30,000 a month, right? But it has never came from me just sitting there and just being like, oh, you know what? I like this, so I'm going to start selling it. No, it doesn't work. That's how you stay broke, okay? So if you're an expert, maybe you might be a sales expert, maybe you might be a spiritual coach, maybe you might be a high performance coach, stop what you're doing and go and listen to the prospects that you're speaking to every day. What do they actually want? What would they be willing to pay for, right? Don't just go forcing your service down their throat, right? So please, maybe the reason why you're struggling is because you're selling something that people don't want, but because you're so biased, you think it's good, so you're trying to push. But it's like, if it's been 6 to 12 months and you're not yet making multiple six figures in this online space, then I promise you that the issue is not your client acquisition, it's not the paid ads, it's not the messenger outreach, it's the thing you're giving to the market. Okay? And the the third obstacle that I believe that keeps most people from, most coaches and consultants from not scaling, is that they don't know how to communicate their value, right? So here, they overvalue their actual value within their services and products. But I also believe that for those who are actually selling amazing services, but who aren't making $1 million a year, it's not because of client acquisition. I just think it's because you're not good at communicating your value, okay? So it's not enough to tell people what you do. Like, it's not enough to just come into someone's life and be like, hey, I can help you make $50,000 a month, or I can help you perform better, or I can help you feel better and happier, I can help your marriage, or I can help. That's not enough, okay? It's not even enough to show them how you do it, right? What you need to do is you need to become good at creating the desire for your services in people's minds, okay? Like, you need to actually be good at creating interest. Like, it's not just enough to just throw what you do at people, or like, hey, I help people, or or maybe if we're going to the agency space, one of the thing that I see most people make, the mistake that I see most agency owners make is that they're like, oh, I'll help you scale your brands to 7 figures. It's like, okay, cool, amazing. But it's like, I'm not going to pay you $10,000 a month because you just told me that, okay? It's like, you need to become good at making people want what you're selling, okay? And for me, one of the best exercises that I've ever done was, or that I've actually even added for my own clients, is this process around, I call it the why you worksheet. So it goes over like, why would people buy your service, okay? And I go over the before state of most of our customers. I go over the after state of most of our customers. I go over the market's problems and solutions delivered by our service and the benefits of having these solutions. And I listed out everything, okay? But not only do I just, when I'm describing these market problems and solutions and benefits, I'm not just talking about the first order consequence of the problem or the benefits, okay? So I'm actually going really deep. I'm talking about what is the problem, how is it affecting their business, but and I also talk about the impact of those impacts, right? Like so like, let's say if someone is not able to, let's say you're a coach, right? And let's say you're not able to book meetings on your calendar, okay? The first impact is that, well, you're not making money, right? But most people just stick at this first level, like this first order consequence level, right? But for us, what we do is we talk about, okay, what happens next? Well, if you can't book meetings on your calendar, you're not going to be able to make money. If you're not making money, then how do you actually pay your bills? If you can't pay your bills, then how do you actually have good relationships? If you can't have good relationships, then how can you even think about building a business? Because at the end of the day, we all are trying to be financially free so we can actually love the people that we want to love, take care of the people that we love. So it's like, it's not just the fact that you can't book meetings in your calendar is impacting more than just not making money. It's actually making you not being able, like, if you're not making money, that's why you're not making money, okay? So, but anyway, I'm going on tangents right now, but it's like, I've built out a YU worksheet. It's a framework around creating sales assets that actually make people not just see the value in what you do, but actually think and believe the same things that you do, so that when it comes to selling your service, it's a no-brainer because they actually think they want it, because you made them think they want it, okay? So, so if you want to, what I suggest, if you want to take 50K profit every month, I recommend you start leveraging someone else's audience. These could be paid audiences, okay? These may not necessarily be free, right? You want to find people who have already invested, because someone who's invested will keep reinvesting, okay? That's something that's nice. It's like, if you want to sell, if you're, let's say if I was a new drug dealer, okay? If I was a drug dealer, right? And they asked me like, hey Serge, can you go sell drugs? I would not go sell drugs to people who have never done drugs. I'd go sell drugs to drug addicts, because that would be the easiest to sell, right? So for you and your own program, I'd ask you, can you find the people who've actually been sold, the people who are already addicted to the thing that you actually sell, okay? Maybe this example actually helps you understand what I mean by leverage someone else's audience, okay? You need to find people who have already been converted, okay? And you need a growth team. I recommend 5 people doing outreach for you, at least 500 outreaches per day. You need social platforms outreach to be going, and then you need to also be good at creating content, okay? So hopefully you found this helpful. If you ever need help, building a growth team, finding your audience with people who are actually ready to buy, if you ever need to be better at content creation, if you need consistently booking 50, 60 meetings per week, then shoot me a message on Instagram or Facebook. You can always find the link to my socials below. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.